I'm Ronald Thwaites. I've been practicing law in Jamaica for over 50 years. And I'm happy to have these conversations with you about legal matters that concern everybody's lives, whether you live in Jamaica or you live abroad. Now, please remember, this is not a substitute for consulting your own lawyer if you have a particular issue or problem. Listen up.
What is bail?
Bail is the conditional release from custody when a person is charged with a criminal offense. A conditional release doesn't mean they're freed. It means they're allowed to go home on certain conditions.
Can everyone get bail?
No, it's a right. But there are circumstances in which that right will not apply. If you are likely not to turn up for your trial, you will not get bail if you're a flight risk. Yes? 2, if you are likely to interfere with the witnesses against you or or anybody complaining against you, you will not get bail. And thirdly, there are very serious offenses which while they do not universally prevent you from getting bail, it is highly unlikely that you will be freed.
How do I get bail? Do I need a lawyer?
Always helpful to have a lawyer, and particularly one who practices criminal law. And particularly in this instance, first of all, when you are in custody, you are in a very vulnerable position. And an attorney can negotiate with the police who are holding you to apply for bail. A senior officer in the police force can grant bail in most cases, yes, on certain conditions. If the charge is an extremely serious one, or if bail has been refused at the police station level, then a person charged can demand to be brought before the court. And the judge, whether at the parish court level or at the Supreme Court level, can decide on the question of bail. How do you get bail? First of all, you have to have someone who is known as a surety. That is the person who is going to make sure that you maintain the conditions of your bail. And that person is bound over in a certain sum of money. Very often you'll hear that bail is granted in the sum of $500,000 with one surety or 2 sureties. And that means that the person who is standing surety, perhaps a relative or a friend, has to show that they are worth that class of money. Yes, because that they are going to be called upon to pay if the person accused of the crime violates the conditions of the bail and does not turn up for their trial. To ensure that you are an appropriate surety, you have to go before a justice of the peace who knows you and who can say, yes, Thwaites owns 2 cars or has a house or is a responsible person, and I therefore recommend him to stand as surety in a sum not exceeding blank dollars to secure the release of whoever.
What is a surety? And who can stand as a surety?
First of all, a surety has to be a responsible person. They have to have some kind of relationship with the accused. There's been a practice in Jamaica where you have professional bailers, that is, persons who are willing to stand as surety if you pay them money, and who are recommended or recommend themselves, or who unfortunately have some relationship with, say, the police, and very unfortunately, and do this as a matter of business. That's not good. That's wrong. Your surety should be someone with whom you live or with whom you're associated and who can satisfy the officer determining bail, police officer or court, that they are in a position to ensure that your conditions are observed.
What can be used as surety?
Some property, a title, yes, a registered title, Yes, this is another use of a registered title, a motor vehicle title, a bank account. Those would be the main things that would be acceptable. There is an effort now to do two things in law. One is to tighten the rules of bail, because it is claimed that persons who have been charged with very serious offenses are given bail, and despite all the precautions, they end up offending again. And therefore, the tendency in the society is to say, no, they shouldn't have been let out conditionally in the first place. There is another tendency at the other extreme, which is to relax the conditions of bail, the situation for approving sureties, so that persons of limited means can in fact serve in that way. A mother for a child who is charged, unfortunately, with something, she may not have much property. Yes, a bed and a bicycle or something, but she's an obvious person to be the surety for that child, and so there has to be that level of flexibility.
If I am a foreign national and I am arrested, how will I get bail?
The same rules apply, but there are, of course, other considerations. The issue of being a flight risk is, of course, most present in a circumstance like this. And so you go through the same proceedings, but it is very likely that your documents are going to be, your flight documents are going to be, passport tickets are going to be held so that you don't abscond. And that the surety is going to be looked at with particular care, because if in fact you don't turn up, and that happens, then that person is going to have to be able to cough up the money very quickly.
If I miss my court date intentionally or unintentionally, what will happen to my bail or surety?
Well, a lot. First of all, for you, a warrant is going to be issued for your arrest. You are going to be found, taken back into custody, and unless you had a very, very good excuse, you're going to stay in custody. Applications to renew bail in those circumstances are very rare. So don't fool around with that. Make sure you go. And as far as your surety is concerned, that surety is going to be required to pay up the money, or else they too are going to be in legal trouble.